What's up, everyone? Sean Count Blaggeruth here with an album review, this time of the 2012 Nuclear Blast Records release of Koloss by Meshuggah. If you're not familiar with Meshuggah, they are a progressive death metal band hailing from Sweden, and they're known for their incredible musicianship and just downright amazing grooves and rhythms. Uh, I've been a big fan of Meshuggah since I heard the song Rational Gaze off their album Nothing. And to me, Nothing has always been the high point of their career. Not to say Catch 33 or Obscene were bad, not by any stretch of the imagination at all. They're both fantastic albums, but they just didn't really have that element of just really slow, punishing, and just brutality that Nothing had. With Obscene, it seemed really too much focused on the fast-paced stuff, which, don't get me wrong, was phenomenal and mind-blowing, but it still wasn't something that I just kept going back to when I listened to Meshuggah. When I would listen to them, I would always put Nothing on. So with this album, when I heard it was going to be a little bit slower and a little bit groovier than their past couple of releases, I was really stoked to hear it. And now that I've fully listened to this album a couple times, I could safely say this is one of their best records to date, especially since Nothing. I'm going to start off with the guitars, probably the heaviest tone that they've had. It still has that same trademark Meshuggah sound, that very progressive song structure of theirs with the insane rhythms and time signatures. But this time around, the tone seems a little bit deeper, a little bit more bassier, a bit chunkier. When they do opens, it just sounds ridiculously just meaty and just really out there. When it's palm muted, it's just a really quick jun, and it's just a really punishing feel to it. This album, in my opinion, is a musical equivalent of getting your ass kicked. And the guitar really helps with that. The bass is doing the same thing as the guitar most of the time. I also want to mention the solos. There are some on here, and they're the typical Meshuggah stuff. It's nothing that's really crazy when it comes to the realm of solos, but something that really fits and works. With the bass, on the other hand, it sticks with the guitar for the most part. It's got a really loud, just crunch to it that I really dig. It's one thing about Meshuggah I've always loved, and that was one of the things that drew me into them, was with the song Rational Gaze. When I heard the bass in that, it was absolutely ridiculous. Once again, the timing is ridiculous on the bass lines. The drums are easily what makes Meshuggah one of the most talented bands in metal. And Thomas Hake is probably my favorite drummer of all time, along with whatever the guy's name is from Ulcerate. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. His time signatures that he comes up with and his kick patterns are some of the most ridiculous ones in metal, and this shows why Meshuggah will always be the leaders of this sound. There's all these bands trying to copy them, rip them off, and I'm not digging that at all. They seem to inspire just an entirely awful wave of just really crappy bands, and this shows why the originators will always be the best. And with this album, it just shows that they're still the best at this progressive sound. It's very slow, heavy, crushing at times. The drums just sound perfect. The kicks have a very strong punch to them. The snare has a good pop, but sounds a little hollow. I kind of like that a little bit. If it was more of a faster paced album with blast beats and thrash beats constantly throughout it, that would get on my nerves. But for the grooviness of what they play, the snare sounds very good. The song structures are just incredible. Vocals, top notch. Once again, very monotone, but very good in a monotone aspect. it sounds damn good, and I can't complain at all about the vocals. The lyrics are just as insane as every other Meshuggah release. Um, I just can't begin to think of how he can write these lyrics and have them be as good as they are with the subject matter. It's absolutely mind-blowing and ridiculous. And the musicianship on this is ridiculous. I can't say enough good things about this album. I have a feeling this is going to be in my top 3 albums at the end of the year. I'm really enjoying this. I think you all will too if you're a fan of Meshuggah's past releases. You're going to find something to love here. It's out next Tuesday. Definitely buy it. I sure as hell am. If you go to FYE, you get a poster. There's a bunch of pre-order packages still available on the Nuclear Blast website. Support Meshuggah. Support these guys. Great group of musicians. Great group of guys. Definitely deserve your support. For a score, I'm giving this a solid 9 out of 10. This is an album I'm going to be listening to an insane amount of times for the following months. So, definitely pick this up. Keep an eye out for it. And that's about it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And as always, keep it metal.